second halves of the last 3 games. How satisfying is it to come out today and limit them to 21 points after the break?
It feels great. It was definitely a whole team defensive effort, and a lot of guys stepped up for us. Big thing was containing Cotton, and our guards did a tremendous job of keeping him in front, chasing him off staggers, containing him in ball screens, and a lot of credit to those guys who, did a really good job of holding him down.
Semaj, you kind of had the lion's share of defending Cotton, especially at the end of the game. Discuss what it's like chasing him around the court, and also the steal that was probably the pivotal play of the game.
It's tough chasing him around, but if you locked in, you should be all right. And my teammates helped me a lot when he was coming off screens. They was right there, so he wouldn't shoot it or put it on the ground. And the steal, I just kind of read it because he kept going to the move every time he came off the screen. So it was just like I just sat down on the crossover.
Dee, is it a relief to finally get back in the win column today? And besides the coverage of Cotton, how else, can you elaborate on what Matt said and how you were able to do that today?
It was just a lot of practice and a lot of hard work we went through this week to prepare. We were a little sloppy on defense in the past games, and today we came out and we were all locked in.
Any one of you guys, can you describe the importance of this win just from a confidence standpoint, especially knowing you got 4 of the next 5 on the road?
It's definitely important. We knew coming in that if we were able to win this game, we'd take 3rd solely in the Big East, and that was something that, starting off the second rotation of all the Big East teams, we definitely wanted to start off on the right foot, and being able to get that first win into the second rotation, it's huge for us.
Semaj, you guys went, it was more than 7 minutes without scoring a point, but I think before you hit the one free throw. What was that stretch like for you? Because obviously offensively things weren't going well, but what were you guys focused on?
Just getting over that we didn't score the next play and getting a stop. That's really it. Just staying together and getting a stop at the end on the defensive side and trying to get a fast break or easy bucket on our side.
And so those are things during these last 3 games plus that really haven't happened for you. So that's got to be a big confidence boost going on.
Yeah, it was a great confidence boost. I know, like they said, the second half was kind of rough for us the last couple of games. It was I just think we stayed locked in the whole game. We wanted to win so bad that everybody was locked in and did what we had to do.
Matt, I know Semaj won't go on and on about himself, but just talk about how huge that was, him locking down, kind of elaborate on it more, just that game-sealing steal he had.
Yeah, no, he's definitely been one of the guys that stepped up for us defensively. And, when we have Semaj locked in like he normally is, it's tough for the, opposing guy to score. And he did a great job on Cotton. His effort was outstanding. Watching him just chase him around, coming off staggers and being right on his tail, that puts a lot of pressure on him, and I think that's what caused that pivotal steal at the end. He felt the pressure and got lackadaisical for a second, and Semaj was able to take advantage of that.
Matt, is there ever a time when you guys play not so much against the opponent but against your own expectations? You know what I mean? Was this win today more about beating Providence or showing yourselves that you guys could play better than you have in the last 3 games?
Yeah, no, it was definitely something where we felt a little bit that we were battling ourselves. We were trying to have to prove to ourselves that we were, the better defensive team. And these guys hate when I say it, but I always say you got to be the hungrier Howie, and you got to be the guy that wants it more. And for us, you got to want it more than everyone out there. That includes the rest of our teammates. You got to be the guy that wants to dive on the floor, get a loose ball, wants to take pride in owning your own guy. And it's a one-on-one battle, and then you're helping all the rest of the guys. So
Sorry, hungrier than Howie.
A hungrier Howie. You got to be the hungrier Howie, hungrier guy.
You guys ever heard that before he said it?
No.
I say it all the time.
Yeah, he said it all the time, but I never heard it.
I seen it on it. Yeah.
Hungrier than Howie.
Matt, maybe the fact you guys got Jalen back, what's that mean for you?
he's been a huge energy boost, and you can tell even just from the minute he was able to practice with us again, and leading up to this game, he's been a guy who's been really energetic, and I think it's sort of resonated for him of how important it is to take care of your daily duties and not going into things, but he's a guy that I think's learned a lot, and he's grown up a ton even the past couple days, and he is really excited to be back, and it's great to have him definitely come in for stretches and help us defensively and offensively. He's a guy who's really lanky and makes it really hard for offenses to drive in the paint and have unobstructed shots.
I'm really proud of our team today. That was a street fight. That was a Big East game when Xavier wasn't a part of the Big East. Knew that Providence, having played them once already, was going to be a very physical team, and we knew it was going to be difficult to score, and we've been working extremely hard on regaining an identity that we worked hard in the preseason and early on in the non-conference part of the season at building. It disintegrated a little bit when our offense really was firing on all cylinders. But as I told our team, if we can be a team that plays at a very high level on both ends of the floor and sort of combine those two different times of the year, then we really got something. It's easier said than done. Again, we have a lot of respect for Providence, the way they play. I think Coach Cooley's done an amazing job of really establishing his team as a defensive team, a tough team. And, we're not used to getting out-rebounded. And part of the reason we got out-rebounded is we missed a lot of shots. But happy for the win, and we move on to another tough team.
Coach, how much was the defense on Bryce Cotton, primarily Semaj, really pivotal to what you wanted to do today?
It's very pivotal. He's the, as Pete Gillen used to say, the straw that stirs the drink. He's the guy that really ignites them, that makes them go. He controls the tempo extremely well. They'll play fast. They'll pull it out. They'll run stuff. But at the end of the day, he's got the ball in his hands. And at times they run away from him and let him go one-on-one from the top. At times they ball screen for him and challenge your bigs to be able to keep him in front until your guard can recapture the angle. And, we made the decision at Providence to put Dee on him because Dee does a much better job at chasing players off of stagger screens and off screens away from the ball than Semaj does, because Semaj is an easier target to screen. But just watching even more film on Cotton, it was evident that because of the physicality and the height and the size of this league, sometimes he's not as effective when he gets to the rim if you're there. And, again, that's easier said than done. But the challenge for Maj was to be able to keep him in front and keep his body and his length in front of him when he was taking those shots. He did a great job, but the rest of our team was right there defensively as well. You can't hold a team to 21 points if you're just concentrating on one player.
Coach Cooley just said he doesn't see Semaj as a defensive player per se, more offensive than scout him that way as a defensive player. What are your thoughts on Semaj?
He's a terrific defender. I think you probably misconstrue what Ed said. I was watching the press conference, and I think anytime you're watching tape, your concern is what are they running offensively? How can we take it away? What are their strengths? Where do they have problems? Defensively, there are going to be matchup issues, but those relatively speaking, don't necessarily change a whole lot. Your point guard usually guards their point. Your center guards their center. And so he just probably doesn't look at him from that standpoint, but I certainly do, and that's probably more important than how Ed views him defensively.
Coach, obviously people were talking about Semaj's defense on Bryce Cotton. Talk about the defense on Dante today.
It was much better than it was in Game 1. When you look at his line, he still had 3 offensive rebounds, but he had 6 or 7 in Game 1, and he was a one-man wrecking crew. Because we let him offensive rebound, or because he did it at such a high level in Game 1, they were able to get to the bonus. They were able to get to the free throw line. And again, #1 free throw shooting team in the country. Today they don't shoot any free throws because we did a much better job of being tight defensively and not fouling. And again, that was part of it going in, is to keep those guys off the line when they run their flex. Let them run it, don't foul. And we didn't foul today like we did at Rhode Island.
Chris, do you think sometimes teams can play as much against their own expectations of themselves as against the opponent? In other words, was today as much about what you guys were trying to regain as it was about beating Providence?
Sure. I mean, that's, we don't spend as much time as maybe an outsider would think on an opponent. And I say that from a coaching standpoint, we do. But how much we transfer to our players, how much we teach our players about Providence, we try to really narrow that so that it's about us, it's about our identity. And so we really needed to make at least a positive step. We weren't all of a sudden going to become Cincinnati, but we needed to make a positive step and quit playing like a sieve in the second half. And I loved our effort on the defensive end.
Coach, are Semaj and Dee as good a pair of defensive guards as they are in the Big East?
I don't know. Again, probably because I go down the line of I don't necessarily judge other teams defensively, at least individually. We won't get a lot of recognition, and we never have, even when we had phenomenal defensive teams, because we don't necessarily put a lot of stats up defensively. We don't ask our guys to press all over the floor and fly through passing lanes. We want to be very solid. Ed Cooley talked about tough twos. We're in the same mindset. And so we want to stay in position all the time. So you're not going to get a lot of block shots. You're not going to get a lot of steals. We want to be a team that sort of crowds the court and makes it tough to get in the lane. But I do think they have an understanding of our identity. They have an understanding of our system. We need that to get transferred to some of the subs off the bench in a hurry.
You said earlier, Chris, that you're working extremely hard on regaining an identity and that it had disintegrated a little bit. Why do you think that it did that?
I think because, number one, we're playing more talented teams, so more effort is required. I think, number two, we were scoring the ball at a much higher level in the beginning of Big East play than we were maybe in non-conference part of the season. And, again, strong-willed teams don't tie their defensive intensity, their effort, their attention to detail into how the ball's going in or not going in. And we have, some young guys and some guys that unfortunately do that at times. But hopefully today was a step in the right direction.
Coach, Isaiah came off the bench in both halves today for the first time, I think, 15 games. Was there a message you were trying to send to him?
Yeah, and I talked to him about that message, and I'll just sort of keep that between coach and player, respectively. But he did a great job today.
And what about Jalen, first being back from his suspension? He proved what he needed to do, I guess, to get back on court.
Jalen's being a more responsible student, a more responsible, guy away from the basketball court. And that's all we ask out of our players is to be men off the floor and learn from their mistakes. And I'm hopeful that Jalen has learned a lesson and doesn't cost our team in the future. He did a great job today.
Has there been a bigger play this year for your team than the one that Semaj made on a steal?
Yeah, you have short-term memory as coach, so I can't go back into my Rolodex of plays, but I'm going to tell you, big-time play. I mean, to make it a two-possession game, to strip their best player, the guy that makes them go, and then, make the pass to Isaiah, eyes in the back of his head, drops it off for an uncontested dunk. I mean, the energy in this building was palpable. It was a heck of a play. Thank you.